Welcome to Leviton Contractor Connect. The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. The opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily represent the views or opinion of Leviton. Leviton does not make any representations or warranties with respect to the accuracy or applicability of the information.
Hi, welcome back to part 2 of Leviton's Contractor Connect podcast series with our special guest, Danny Lipford. My name is Tom Degnan, and I'm the Contractor Channel Manager at Leviton and the host of this podcast series. It's my pleasure to welcome Danny Lipford to the podcast. Danny is the host of the popular home improvement show, Today's Homeowner, and his background includes 40 plus years as a general contractor. We have engaged Danny because he has a good feel for trends and opportunities within the construction industry. So welcome, Danny.
Thank you.
Let's get right into it. Technology is evolving so fast that many homeowners and facility managers have trouble keeping up. Do you feel that electrical contractors today have become more of a trusted consultant first and installer second? I mean, do customers look for the electrical contractor to guide them to technology in more of a design build role?
Well, they certainly do, and they appreciate good practical advice coming from someone that's in the trenches, that's in the trades, and not a lot of technical talk, but what it will do for them as homeowners, or in many cases, how they can help the builder get an edge. Everybody's trying to get an edge, and this is certainly one way an electrical contractor can do that by recommending some things and thinking about and learning and educating themselves on technology and being able to recommend things that homeowners and builders probably don't realize are available out there. You know, it's just like the Decora of smart devices instead of dimmers. That's a nice little upgrade there. Or maybe recommending some of the Leviton dimmers over just a traditional single pole switch. So there's a lot of ways that you can introduce small things into it that all of a sudden the homeowner feels so much more comfortable with the recommendations you're making. And then you can go from there, depending on if it's a remodeling project or whether it's a new home project. Plenty of opportunities for the electrical contractor to fill that consultant role.
Terrific. And just to build on this a little bit, is there anything that electrical contractors can do to improve their competency in this area? Anything else beyond that?
Well, certainly, pouring into the trade magazines. When I was really, involved, I still own my construction company, but when I was involved every single day, I just devoured the trade magazines, which now pretty much are all websites. But it just seemed like it always resonated with some of the things that I was working on when you can see other, in this case, electrical contractors that may be challenged with certain issues. And there's the answers right in the pages of these trade magazines. So I would just devour all of those. Seminars, I'm a big believer in seminars. There's a lot of electrical supply companies that from time to time will have some learning sessions like that, maybe with a free lunch. That doesn't hurt. So I would jump right on any of those opportunities that you can. And it's just continuing education. None of us want to sit down and labor over a textbook, but when you're interacting with your fellow electrical contractors, whether through websites or in person, you will gain more information than you ever have. And again, I compliment Leviton.com on all of the information that they have directed to contractors. It's a win-win for everybody.
That's good, Danny. Good points. I also want to point out that Leviton has developed a new online resource. You mentioned online resources. Our new online resource to keep contractors informed is called Leviton's Contractor Connect. So we have a little clip of that. So let's just turn it over here.
Leviton Contractor Connect is the online hub for busy electricians. Find how-to installation videos, online training, the latest Leviton products, and a suite of mobile apps. Plus, hear from industry experts on Leviton's new podcast. For premium support and rewards, enroll in My Leviton Pro Support and Rewards program. Wherever you are, Leviton Contractor Connect is your new must-have tool. Get more productive at leviton.com/contractorconnect.
Welcome back, everyone. Danny, we've talked a lot about keeping up with technology. Aside from that, any broad advice for electrical contractors relating to running their business as a whole?
Well, really think about the aspect of consulting and the design build aspect. Certainly the world is gravitating towards that. Embrace that and be the best in your area at doing that. And yes, it may take a little extra time to walk those homeowners through their new home or their renovation that's taking place, but you're going to end up with upselling and being able to gain more revenue because of your good recommendations as an electrical consultant along with being a contractor. So never underestimate that opportunity to recommend, even things like additional outlets outside. How are you going to use this patio? What about that column? Wouldn't you like something there to plug a fan in? Certain things, they're all kind of muddied up with trying to pick out colors and curtains and all of the different things there, windows, doors, and all of the other many elements in it. Sometimes electrical is not considered as much as it should be. You're able to bring them into that, and everybody ends up winning on that. They get a more comfortable home, one that has a little automation involved in it, a safer home, and then you're able to walk away feeling good about what you've done.
Terrific, and you bring up a few good points there, Danny. And I always say, more in recent years, that I've been with Leviton for 20 years, but in more recent years, electrical has finally become cool. I mean, historically, we're a necessity, electrical, receptacles and switches, but people take them for granted. Nowadays, with the some of the things we pointed out in part one of our conversation with Danny was like the USB devices, where we're selling them at almost as an impulse item at retail stores. People come in to buy something, and I've seen the retailers put them at the checkout counter, almost like a candy bar. I mean, they become exciting. We've finally become cool. So I just wanted to touch on that and to kind of build into the next question for you, Danny, is what do you see as the biggest breakthrough in the electrical industry over the past decade? What do you, in your opinion, what's the cool item that you feel is out there that on the street?
Well, without a doubt, the ease of use with wireless devices and all the many ways that they can help you have a more comfortable and safer home. It's just far beyond just the gadget that you want to show off to friends. But when you have things like, I had a situation recently in one of my daughter's homes where it had a laundry room that you open up. Now you got two doors you're opening up. You're bound to have clothes in your hand, and then you've got to turn the switch on. Not anymore. We took a Leviton motion sensor switch and put it right in there. It's amazing. She loves it. As soon as those doors open, the lights come on like magic, like the refrigerator. And it works out very, very well. And you're not leaving that light on. Great also for attic applications and other storage applications, linen closets, a lot of different things that you can use, the motion sensor light or the hinge switches and things along those lines. So practical electrical applications, I think, is something that should never be ignored. And an electrical contractor has an opportunity to recommend these really cool things that are not an expense, not a big expense to the homeowner, but it'll just make the home a lot nicer. So there again, it's technology allowing us to have a more comfortable and safer home.
Great advice, and it just needs to be explained. I mean, I just did a renovation at my house, and it seems that there's a lot of focus on plumbing fixtures, but electrical can add more convenience more so than aesthetics. So that's good advice. So, any other general comments on the electrical world? Any other observations or thoughts on your part? Referring to our audience of electrical contractors.
Well, you always have to think that we're in the trenches. We're talking about building, remodeling, different selections, all kinds of things in the world of electrical, but the homeowners are not. And often the builders are even not familiar with a lot of things. So if a contractor is able to expose and reveal a lot of the things that are out there. And some of these things have been out there forever. I mentioned the hinge switches quite a bit. It's so funny when I put those and people see them in my home, they go, wow, like I invented it or something. But, and it's been around forever. But it's those kind of things that if they're not aware they're available and you make them aware that it's available and tell them the approximate cost, all of a sudden, it's a game changer for them. It's way more than just plugs and switches and a handful of lights. All of a sudden, it's a design that has gone in, another layer of design that's gone into what's probably the biggest investment they'll make in their life, their home there. So that makes a lot of difference there, Tom.
Great, Danny. And all those items and products that Danny's talking about are all available. If you check out Leviton.com, they're all on there. Or as mentioned, Leviton.com /Contractor Connect. There's a wealth of information there for you. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about Danny Lipford. What does the future hold for Danny Lipford? Any new or interesting projects in the works? So what are you working on, Danny?
Oh man, we're having a lot of fun and continuing to build. My television show's now in its 24th season.
Wow.
And it's the second longest running home improvement show in America, only second to my friends at This Old House. And right now, there's 210 television markets in the United States. We're in 208 of them. That's 91% of the country can now see Today's Homeowner, in addition to all of our streaming platforms. Our radio show now is in 325 markets and growing every single month. Today'sHomeowner.com continues to provide practical, realistic information for everybody. And my daughter, Chelsea, who's my co-host, her brand, Checking In with Chelsea, is doing very, very well. And we're still having a lot of fun.
Terrific, Dan. And as mentioned in the beginning of our first podcast, I consider your show different from all the other shows in that it's real, that you get real insight and real instruction. So it's a valuable resource for me, and I'm sure it will be for our audience as well. So once again, our podcast is structured as a quick listen for our audience. While this concludes part 2 of our conversation with Danny Lipford, we invite you to go check out part 1 with Danny Lipford as well. And all these podcasts are available at Leviton.com/Contractor Connect podcast. So lastly, any closing thoughts, Danny?
Well, what we've talked about a lot, Tom, is really doing just a little bit of ramping up on your knowledge of what's available out there. And what ends up happening when you do that, you're going to help your builder, you're going to help the homeowners, and you're going to help your bottom line in your business to really reach that longevity that you want and that stability that you want in a business. It's just a little bit of effort in ramping up that education, but it'll mean a lot for your livelihood and increasing your revenue. So it's there waiting on you.
Terrific, Danny. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for being on our podcast series. And thanks to our audience. And before we wrap up, we have a special offer for our audience. So check it out. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
As a special thanks for listening to our podcast, we'd like to offer you a Leviton AFCI receptacle. The receptacle provides NEC-compliant arc fault protection for retrofit and new construction applications. See the National Electrical Code for appropriate installation requirements. Just visit Leviton.com/podcast offer and tell us where to ship. This offer is just for podcast listeners for a limited time and while supplies last.
Attention electrical professionals. Join the Leviton Pro Rewards program to start earning rewards for your smart product enrollment. Sign up today and receive 100 free bonus points. Visit my.leviton.com/pro to get started.